him updated that. They ever say what he spend it?
They have, they call just-in-time job contracts,
Yeah.
and their job order contracts is what it's. They say they're gonna go out and do a whole bunch of rehabilitation of sewer lines.
Okay.
And that's where I was asking him, do you think your vendors have the resources and the supplies to go out and do all the work you say you're gonna do?
And he says yes.
Yes, and I don't believe it, but it's a commitment
Roy,
that they've
could you
made.
please mute? Roy, could you please
Pretty much.
mute? Thank you, sir. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to call the Regional Wastewater Advisory Committee to order for March 26th. And we will start with a roll call.
Good morning, Alejandro Frejo Arque. Catlo Shipek.
Here.
Claire Zucker.
Here.
Craig Canizaro.
Here.
Eric Sewell.
Here.
Kirsten Wainsvik.
Here.
Matt Mathewson.
Here.
Scott Oldendorf.
Here.
Sheila Brown.
Here.
Oh, shoot, excuse me, Sheila Bowen. Sorry, I could not read my own writing.
No worries.
Steve Foley.
Here.
And we have a quorum.
Is Sheila joined our committee? Is that?
Yes, she.
Hi, Sheila.
She's not officially a member
Hello.
yet, but she
Hi,
is.
Sheila.
Good morning, everyone.
It's like old friends.
Old time.
Yeah.
Yes, we don't need to do introductions.
Well, that's super exciting.
Yeah, I'm not official yet, so I'll be official hopefully next month. So, but I'm just attending to get caught back up. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing your actual face and not just your initials. Okay, we'll go on with the virtual meeting reminders. Please mute your microphones. This will help ensure there's no feedback or background noises that may interfere with the speaker. If a committee member would like to speak or ask a question, please use the raise your hand feature. Remember to lower your hand once your question has been answered or you've finished speaking. When you're ready to speak, please unmute your microphone, especially important during votes. And don't forget to mute your microphone when you're finished. And as a reminder, audience members are only permitted to speak during the call to the audience unless called upon by the committee, and this meeting is being recorded to satisfy the open meeting law requirements. All right, we'll move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We need to keep in time in the future on the pledge, just work on that.
Do it in rounds.
Is that a safety share? No, but I'll save it for next time.
I'm moving on to the call to the audience. Do we have any audience members that would like to make a statement? Hearing none, I'll move on to the safety share.
Always.
Yes, you have something.
So, well, first off, I saw that on the weather report that it's supposed to rain, starting late Saturday and into Sunday. Yay, I hope that happens.
20%.
I saw bigger numbers.
Yeah, it was 30% this morning.
But nonetheless, we hope it does rain and just be careful of your footing, slips, trips and falls as our internal safety share, but also driving when it hasn't rained in a while and the road gets wet and there's residual oils and stuff. It can be even slippery, more slippery. So just be careful out there, and that's it.
Okay, and
Steve has his hand.
yes, Steve.
Yeah, I'd just like to emphasize again, as was mentioned last week, the construction. There's really a lot of construction, and the cones setting off lanes require a lot of care to really make sure you're in the right lane. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve.
Any other safety shares?
And just to make sure, can everybody hear us okay? If anybody can't hear us okay, let us know. Okay, good.
Great, excellent. Okay. If there are no other safety shares, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. Everybody have a chance to look at the minutes for this time. There were a couple of changes recommended by Ms. Matt.
One change. Just trying to keep him up with the times, make sure he actually read it. And corrections already been
Correction's
made.
been made. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So
Do I hear a second?
second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, and the minutes are approved. All right, now we're going to move on to the director update, Jackson.
All right, I'll try to be less controversial than the last time we met, but just a few maybe updates. One, we've been talking about with Tucson Water being the largest billing provider for our sewer user fees because of the sheer nature of the number of customers, of joint customers we have. The contract expired that we just came off of for billing. It expired on December 31st of 2025, just a few months ago. And so we've continued, we're just moving forward right now, but they had asked for a pretty significant increase, and we've been discussing that for quite a bit. And for the time being, we are going to basically extend the current contract with a 10% increase, basically. So from $1.43, it'll go up to $1.57 or $1.58, somewhere right there. And it will be for just a 1-year extension, and it will have to be retroactive from January 1st of this year through the end of December of this year. So, tentatively, we've agreed to that. So we have more time to work out our differences and have some discussions, but it still has to be approved by mayor and council and board of supervisors. So until those two things happen, it's not a done deal. But between our two parties, we've had those discussions and are aligned and in agreement. But now we just need to get over the last approval hurdles, and then we'll be covered. It's not, by the time you get all the signatures and you get it on agendas, it's gonna be halfway through the year. So it's only 6 months left of the year, but will allow us to pay the contracts backwards as well. So at least it's to me a good milestone we achieved to keep sanity and keep going. But we'll be having some very detailed conversations as we move into the future to look for something more long term. All right. Second item, I brought this up also last time, but I'm going to dive into it a little more. I brought up this topic of conflict of interest, and in this, the committee is 13 people with different backgrounds and representing, of course, themselves here, and many of them appointed by board members, but there's 3 at-large positions as well. And it's, based on the nature of everyone's business, there's always a potential for a conflict of interest. So in recent conversations with procurement on things that we're doing right now, that the wastewater department is doing right now, they brought up the topic in particular with the RWRAC. And so in one particular case, I've already spoken with Alejandra, because Kimley Horn, the firm she works for, is our program manager for the Sarita project, which we call the Santa Rita project. there's no need for her to leave this group or to retire from Kimley Horn or any of those crazy things. It's just, she has a document she'll fill out and we're disclosing that there's always a potential conflict of interest because she receives a salary or is paid by Kimley Horn and they're doing work for us. So she'll abstain in any votes. You know, she can be here. It's a public meeting. She can listen, she can talk, but she will abstain from any votes regarding the Sarita project or the Santa Rita project, however we're going to call it going forward. So, you know, that's the declaration in this meeting, and that's all good. I don't see any problem after that. That will take care of that. But I also have two other similar documents, just like Alejandra has, for Kirsten and for Craig, in case you believe your firms may be trying to do something on the Sarita project. I suggest you take one of these and look it over and potentially sign it. Also to refrain from any votes or recommendation on the Sarita project. You know, and it's one thing, if your firm's likely going to do it, it's important to sign this and abstain from those activities. But if your firm in the future was not selected, if it tried and wasn't selected, then, you know, you don't need to worry about it. You can continue as usual, but just keep it in mind. And Jeanette will hold on to these, Kirsten, and, you know, get it to you. And
I can send a
Greg,
digital
we'll
copy.
they'll just send it to you electronically. And if you have any questions, let us know. But that's an item I just wanted to bring up so we don't run into any problems as we, you know, especially because that's a busy topic for the next many months we're going to be talking about. Probably for the next few years, we're going to be talking about it. So, all right. And if anyone else, retired or otherwise, Matt, if you're planning to come out of retirement and work for a firm that might be doing some work at Sarita, you better fill one out too.
Got it, thanks.
All right. My final item was the Mount Lemon O&M. And again, I think these are all subjects I've brought up in the past, but it's been amazing to me. In the past year, we've struggled. We only have 2 assigned operators on Mount Lemon. That's our smallest facility. It's like permitted for 15,000 gallons per day, and it probably runs closer to 4,000 gallons per day actual. It varies quite a bit between winter and summer and between weekends and weekdays. Nonetheless, in the old days, we had operators that fought to be the one assigned up there. We have, you know, it's just one operator. It's a very small facility, and we only have one operator up there. They basically drive up the mountain. It's a 10-hour day for them, and it's 7 days a week. Somebody goes up there to do the normal operation things. But so one of them works Sunday through Wednesday, and the other one works Wednesday through Saturday. So they overlap one day for any bigger jobs that require assistance and just better communication, but they each are kind of solo, beautiful up on the mountain, and just a nice, easy position. And people, I mean, it was a vicious argument to say, no, I get it. I know it's my turn. And well, in the past year, we found 0 people interested in going up on the mountain, and we have 2 vacancies. So for quite a while, we've been filling that duty with some of our other operators that have regular scheduled jobs at the other facilities, but they'll work overtime. They'll work a day off. And so we have more than the regulars there, and they don't see it on a day-to-day basis, which always gives you a little concern because, hey, somebody just coming up after a week or something, maybe they don't pick up as well as someone else. So we don't like that, but it is what it is. We have to do what we have to do. Also, per ADEQ requirements, the operator is supposed to be at least a grade 3 certified treatment system operator, wastewater treatment. And so that shortens our pool of people that can go up there. You know, we still have to do what we do. And if we have to use a 2 or somebody else will do it. But the goal is to get 2 3s assigned up there. So we did have an offer, I should say, from Jacobs, who runs our Agua Nueva plant. They said that they would be happy to cover that plant for us through the remainder of the contract time that they have. And so they gave us a quote to do that. And so we're evaluating that as a possibility, just because we can't get operators to get up there. You know, we have a number of vacancies, especially the three. It's a harder one to fill than some of the other positions. So I just wanted you to be aware it's something under consideration. It also, you know, I guess if you call it our sweet spot or our wheelhouse, most of our facilities, other than Mount Lemon, are what we would deem large industrial facilities. They treat at least 1 million. Everything's over 1 million other than our Mount Lemon facility at 15,000 gallons per day. And so, you know, we've kind of crafted our processes and systems to handle those larger facilities and the way we do our work and plan and schedule and everything else. And not that Mount Lemon is a problem, but it's definitely a problem. You know, it takes a long time to get there. It's not completely tied into SCADA like our other plants are. And we're gonna at least evaluate the proposal on the table to bridge some time and allow us to see where we go with that. So just FYI. And those were my topics, but I'm happy to answer any questions. And other than that, I did a very short stint today. It's very difficult for me.
Any questions for Jackson? Well, this may be a short meeting because our next item unfortunately has been postponed. And when was it going to be at the next meeting?
He will be available to do it at the April meeting.
Okay, the April.
So Deputy County Administrator Carmine DeBonis is unable to be with us today, but he has indicated that he will be able to give us the presentation next month.
Thank you. And then we have Doreen Press for the quarterly vacancy review and elimination update.
2 seconds, please.
Didn't see you there.
All right, Doreen, speak nice and clearly and loud.
So good morning, everybody. So just to go over last quarter's numbers for vacancies and movement. We had a total of 7 retirements in the department with 1 resignation. We did have 12 promotions internally, so we're always excited to have our internal promote up. We did have 17 new hires, 1 lateral move, and we had 30 vacancies filled for last quarter. Our vacancy rate right now is at an 8.0, which is higher than where it was from last quarter. Of course, with all the promotions and retirements, that's going to cause a higher vacancy rate due to positions being emptied. 17 new hires were filling positions that were already empty, so we're trying to get that back down to about, you know, a 6 to a 5.5 where we were a few months ago. Our vacancies are an average fill of about 85 days, which again is about normal for this time of year with, you know, the new season, people getting out of school, new job opportunities. So we're looking, you know, at those different types of areas to really look into for vacancies and recruitment opportunities. So yeah, we had a lot of movement last quarter. We're excited for our new employees and our promotions and just look forward to keep filling vacancies. Yeah.
That's good news, actually, that you had that many hires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah, are there any questions from anybody regarding this?
I think
Yeah.
so this current month or this current time that we do have a lot of retirements and
Yeah.
resignations, more than normal, I could say, and that will put a little poke in us and,
Mhm.
you know, but
Bump in our vacancy rate.
we'll get back up and start climbing the mountain again and
That's
trying to
it.
get people.
Just keep climbing. So, and just keep filling. So that's what we're working on and trying to get our days to fill down a little bit as well. That's really kind of out of our control. It's just a matter of who applies and how quickly we can get those vacancies filled, and if people who are applying are meeting minimum qualifications and going through the interview process, so.
And I'll have to say that, you know, it's always busy in our recruitment arena. And we have recruitment efforts and the ultimate process of having interviews. But we've had interviews where the applicant was offered a job and didn't accept it, you know, for one reason or another. Strange, but yeah, we have many times where the hiring manager will review the applicants and try and, you know, if you have 15 candidates for one job, you prefer not to interview 15 people, maybe you can narrow it down to a handful or less. And we've had many times where we've interviewed people and didn't offer any of them jobs. They weren't quite what we were looking for. We've had people apply for a job and get scheduled for an interview and not show up, don't even call us, they just don't show up. I mean, you name it, we experience the gambit of good and bad, and mostly it's bad. It's just part of those challenges in today's world of trying to hire and fill positions, and we don't, let it beat us down, and we just keep trying to fill our spots. And overall, we've been very successful. And right now, we're just on a little bit of a decline, but we'll head back up like we always have. So,
Jackson,
yes,
does the salary program that was started a year and a half ago, has that also helped or been a driver to make it easier to bring people in?
yeah, we think it's helped overall. First of all, we believe we have more applicants per position for posting than we used to. So that's kind of one KPI or one statistic that looks good. We seem to fill more of our positions. You just always fighting turnover and stuff. But there's still probably some positions where the market, the market is forever changing. So here 3 years ago, when we made the change, we might have been where we wanted to be in the market, somewhere maybe around the midpoint, but the market maybe kept going and we didn't. So we may be back down at the bottom again. So we see some positions are a little more challenging than others, but all in all, we think the changes have been an overall positive for the effort.
And if I can just add to Jackson's statement as well, we're constantly working with human resources with recruitment and class and comp to make sure we're meeting benchmarks and, having them review things. If we happen to see something that we don't agree with and we bring it to Jackson's attention, we'll also work with HR to re-review things as well.
Great. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And now we're going to move on to the draft rate workbook review, and we have Art here. Let's see, he's not here.
Michelle, are you handling that today?
Hey, good morning. I've chatted Art. I didn't realize that the legislative update was being postponed, and my understanding is Art was going to be available sometime after 8:30. I've chatted him just to confirm that information. Would it be possible to defer it?
We can do the subcommittees.
Okay,
And
if you want to
We'll
go ahead
come
with
back
that,
to this. We'll come back
Okay.
to this agenda item.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So, do we have David here? Should we just move down to the period 8 expense
I
review?
think so.
Okay. Well, let's move on to item number 5, and we will postpone item number 4. So do we have David Stickley talk about the 2025-26 period 8 expense report and review summary?
We do. Good morning, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I am David Stickley. I'm the division manager for departmental analysis. Isai Centendo has moved on to the library department and will be backfilling his role. He's the supervisor who leads the support for wastewater. In the meantime, I'll be filling in the time being. And so I'm going to go ahead, if everybody's okay, I'll share the schedule so that we can see the numbers. And
Hey,
I'll
David,
provide-
for you taking over this role right now, did you draw the long straw or the short straw?
Actually, I think all the straws were the same length. So not a problem, though. I think you guys all know Roy Garcia, who's been supporting wastewater for so long. So I think we've got a very good collaborative team in place. So with that said, can everybody see the schedule?
Can you make it
Yeah.
a little bit bigger, please?
Sure. Let me see. How's that?
A little bit more.
All right.
That works there.
Okay, it's a little bit off my screen, so we'll do the best we can. So from a process standpoint, this is the period 8 forecast. It's 2/3 of the way through the fiscal year. And with this particular forecast, we'd like to do what I would term as a deep dive, because we have 8 months of actuals and we have 4 months of forecast to be done. So this deep dive forecast is where we're really trying to snap the chalk line on where the departments are going to finish the year fiscally. And so there's a little bit of change between the period 7 forecast and the period 8 because of the rigor that went into this forecast. And Jackson, thanks to you and your team for collaborating with us as we do put a little bit more of a spotlight on this particular forecast. And I'll just caveat it by saying we feel on the finance side that this is a fairly accurate forecast of where wastewater is going to come in by the end of the fiscal year with what is known at this current time. So what we'll see is some changes between the period 7 and period 8. The expenses have gone up a little bit. They've gone up about 1.5 million. That's related to conveyance, estimating their just-in-time work with their vendors that can be accomplished in the next 4 months. And then on the revenue side, the revenue actually went down a little bit too. That went down by about 1.3 million. And so looking at it purely from an economic standpoint, you go, well, our expenses are going up, but our revenue is going down. So that's not a good thing. I would actually characterize that as a good thing because it's more accurate. I think it's a more accurate view of where wastewater is going to finish the year, but it's also still better than budget. And so rather than leaving resources on the table at the end of the fiscal year, wastewater, I think, is planning to actually come close to optimizing the resources that they've been given for the fiscal year 26. So there's been a little bit of change in the geography between line items, but the net number is on budget. And so, like I said, we feel really good about this being an accurate forecast of where wastewater is going to come in at the end of the year. So that's kind of a short version of it. I can take some questions if you'd like.
Hey,
I'll just
David,
open
this
it
is
up.
Jackson. On the spreadsheet or the document that's on the screen, I'll say this out loud, so if I need to be corrected, but down in the lower portion on revenues, you have a utility fee with that budget of 15,773,725, that line, utility fee. I believe, we had been at wastewater utility fee for a while, but again, there was a lot of confusion. So I think it's been changed back to a connection fee. So
Yeah.
we might want to just call that a connection fee again. Is that correct? Tracy, it's the connection fee now? Yeah. So just
Yeah.
for future, if you would, maybe get that changed to connection fee.
Will do. Actually, Jackson, in my notes, I have connection fee, and that the decline in the revenue has to do with the mix of the type of connections that are being made. I believe the volume is relatively consistent, but we can certainly change the label to make it more accurate.
So it does look like the projected forecast is online, even if this straight line forecast and actual expenses are a bit different. And that's what you're basically saying. I just thought I'd reiterate that and make sure I'm clear.
Yeah, that is correct. The straight line
Okay.
forecast doesn't take account any potential seasonality. And we know that always at the end of the fiscal year, there's always a bit of a rush to get things in one fiscal year, so we don't have to deal with carry forwards.
Right. Are there any questions today on this budget, on this, summary, rate workbook,
Summary.
whatever?
Not rate.
Yes, sorry.
The expense summary, yeah.
Anybody have any questions or thoughts? Okay. Well, thank you very much. That was good.
Okay,
I'm glad there's
appreciate
been
it.
some work on that. Great.
Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
Okay, we'll move on to the subcommittee report, starting with the financial subcommittee report.
Great,
Kirsten?
thank you. Yes. So the financial subcommittee met on 3/10, and we had a couple things on our agenda to discuss, which I think were very productive. The first was we had a discussion and presentation from Jaime about the CIP fiscal year 26 and 10-year look ahead. the version that was dated February 18th, 2026. And out of that, there was some good discussion about the Santa Rita program, a suite of projects, and specifically elements that the committee had some questions as to how they were being accounted for. There are 4 of them. I can only remember 3 specifically: the Green Valley closure, the Santa Rita effluent disposal pipeline or method, the Aravaca pipeline, and I think maybe the Corona de Tucson, but Jaime can correct me on the 4, and how those were being accounted in the 10-year look ahead. So that discussion led to a kind of a request from the committee to have a paradigm summary of how those are being accounted for. It didn't sound like Jaime believed that there needed to be more budget necessarily for those things. So that was a follow-up action item that Jaime was going to do for us and the larger RWRAC, was to just summarize the paradigm on some of those other smaller elements of the program that are impacting the program and how they are predicted to be accounted for without requesting extra CIP budget. That led us into a rate workbook spreadsheet discussion from Art Curon, and that was a newer version dated 3/5/26, which helped us see where things were going in the long run. And it kind of came down to 2 different predictions. Either there'll be another request for a rate increase, or potentially the amortization period for the Santa Rita related debt specifically might be changed from a 15-year period to a 25-year period. And that was going to be discussed further by Art and the director and county administration as a possibility. So with that, then we discussed meeting again. And I know that there's a date, Jeanette, that is out in a poll. Do we have the date? I don't know. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. The consensus seems to be for April 6th from 8:30 to 10:30.
Perfect. So there you go. April 6th, 8:30 to 10:30 is when we will meet again. And that's all I have.
Right. Excellent. And I just thought, I know you used the word paradigm, and I just want to make sure people kind of understand what that means. So there had been placeholders far out for items that were not hadn't really been figured out, not even sure when it's going to happen, sort of placeholders so that people could see that. But it was causing some confusion because there were questions about, well, what's going to happen with that? Well, why is that out there? And so rather than having those placeholders where you can't really put discussion in a budget, we asked that there be something written so that we're not having to re-explain and refigure out these numbers, because budgets aren't made to have explanations in them. So that's sort of my understanding of right. That sounds good?
Yes, it is. I was struggling because I'm not rewatching exactly the words that we used, and it'll be better in the minutes that Jeanette produces for us. I couldn't remember but it's a little summary of how those elements are being accounted for at this time. Even if they're not specifically in the budget, so that we all remember what the thinking was in this year 0 or whatever this is that we call it.
Right.
This process.
Right.
Thank you.
It would be very helpful. No,
So Jeanette,
I just putting it in my
minutes
words.
in the minutes for this meeting, whatever you called it in the minutes for the financial subcommittee, call it that. Thank you.
Will do. And I believe Jaime will have a draft of that he will bring before the financial subcommittee when we meet on the 6th. And then from there it will go to the full committee. Correct? Okay.
Any further comment on this item? It was a really good discussion, I thought. Thought we got to the core of some things. That was really nice. All right, we'll move on to the next item, which is the CIP subcommittee report.
Which I guess I will do again. As I informed you all, Asia has left the committee at the end of her term on March 1st. So we do still need another member for the for the CIP subcommittee, and we need a new chair. So I'm going to send out an email soliciting another volunteer to join the CIP subcommittee, as well as proposals for a chair nomination. All right? And that's where that stands.
Okay, great.
Jeanette,
Um,
a
Yes.
little point of order. Did you include the financial subcommittee? It's both,
No,
right?
just
Asia
the
was on both.
CIP.
Wasn't Asia
well,
on?
the financial subcommittee does need a new member.
Yeah.
Because
As well.
Asia's gone. But the CIP is a little bit more critical because she was the chair. So we will need, for both subcommittees, we need a replacement. But for the CIP, we need elections for, or nominations to start for a chair.
and just to be clear, the subcommittees meet on a planned basis. It's not a monthly must meet. It's based on the workflow.
Right. It's when the subcommittee members together decide that we would like to get together and discuss whatever is going on in the main committee.
Yeah. All right, and then I'll move on to the Citizen Water Advisory Committee report, which I will give, because there's not currently a representative from that committee on this committee. So, the meeting was held on, where is the meeting? Oh, February 4th. Is that right? There was a March 4th meeting. I have the wrong agenda here. March 10th.
Right.
No, that's your meeting.
That was a financial one.
Yeah, sorry. I thought I had, see, this is why I need to pay more attention. Excuse me, hold on.
It's in
Take your
that,
time.
it's that, in that still trap of a mind you have.
I know,
You just gotta figure out how to open it.
You must have not put that. Let me tell you what the last meeting was about, and then I can summarize, or the next meeting, because I thought what I would do is tell you what's coming up, which is might be important for you to know. So there's always a director's report, and right now they're looking at the Colorado River updates pretty seriously, and also water demands are always on that, so they always look at the water demands. And they are going to have a water resources update with Beth Scully, the water program superintendent for City of Tucson Water. They're also going to have a legislative update. So that's next week, and that's legislative issues with regard to them. And then they always have a financial subcommittee and a conservation and policy committee meeting, and then a regional wastewater reclamation advisory presentation, which I do. So let me go find the last meeting.
March 4th?
Yep. Well, I can tell you this. Sorry, I apologize. I thought I had that right in here in my handy book. One of the biggest differences that changes to the group is that the water conservation, there has been a conservation committee and there was a planning and policy committee. The planning and policy committee did not get quorum very frequently, whereas the conservation committee really did. And so the over the last few months, the planning and policy has been pulled into the two other committees. Now there's only two committees, and those do meet monthly. And so the conservation committee is now conservation planning and policy. And we have met the one time, and now we're going to meet again, I think, next month. So that has happened. They talked a lot about the Colorado River, and still at that time we're sort of on an on-hold pattern. Things have gotten worse since then. So I imagine at next month's meeting or next week's meeting, we will have a more robust discussion about the challenges coming forward with the Colorado River. The Tucson Water maintains that they have a robust portfolio in, you were there, you could talk about this too. They have a robust portfolio and they will be okay in the long term, but they are all concerned. Do you have anything to add? Maybe you were going to do the, were you going to do the? Oh, yes, right. Okay, we have to figure that out. Okay. All right. So that's it.
Thank you.
Sorry that was discombobulated. I guess I just didn't put my minutes in like I normally do. All right, moving on to the next item. Oh, Art. Yes, we can go back. Excellent. Good timing. Thank you for being here. We're going to go on to item 4, which is the draft rate workbook review.
Thank you, Chair, members of the committee. Unfortunately, I don't have much to update you on today with respect to the draft rate workbook. We're working through a couple of different scenarios that county administration has asked us for our consideration. I think there's some hesitation to move off of our 15-year amortization period. So Michelle and I are going back with county admin to look at what we can do from a CIP programmatic perspective to maintain that 15-year amortization and still not have to raise rates within the until we've exhausted our current rate plan, which was adopted last year by the board. So we're working on a few different scenarios that county admin has asked for. And when we do that, we will come back to this group with those updated scenarios. So unfortunately, I don't have much to present other than an update on that we are working on it. And there's a lot of moving pieces, as this committee well knows, and the finance subcommittee can attest to that. But we're working hard with the understanding that there's not a lot of appetite to increase rates beyond what was already established last year by the Board of Supervisors. So that concludes my update. I'm happy to answer any questions that the committee may have.
Are there any questions at this time? No? Okay. Well, thank you, Art. Appreciate it. This is a
Thank
short
you.
meeting. I guess we're making up for some other ones.
Oh, good Lord, yes.
Okay, so we're going to move on to item I, which is future agenda items. What's on board for the next?
The
We don't have
next,
that work.
so the next meeting, we will be having the
Oh, here it
legislative updates. That was postponed from this month. We will be having, hopefully the financial plan review and the budget request review, as well as the Roger Road cleanup project, update by Kimberly Beza.
Excellent.
So it'll be a nice full meeting next week, next month.
Any other items that people would like to bring forward for future? Okay, all right.
Cool.
And call the audience. Is there any audience member that would like to make a statement? Hearing none, I'll call for adjournment. May I have a motion?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Second.
Second.
Thank you, Steve.
Any discussion? No, I want to stay. I want to stay. No. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Kirsten, was that in opposition there?
Oh, no, that was an I. Sorry. I think you moved too fast. Trying to find my mute button. Never mind.
Great to see you guys. And Sheila, welcome to the committee. It'll be great to have you here.
Thank you so
all.
much.
See you later.
Bye. Well, so
It's some confusion. Did I hear the?
Hey, Jeanette, I'm sorry to hear that, God, just suddenly, spaced out on, is moving on.